Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. I'm so glad to have you here as we bring about another amazing guest. Guys, okay, the next guest is my man Matthew. Now, this guy doesn't play games. I met Matthew in high school. I still remember this guy came through on some other steez. He was a new guy at the school, and this guy's tall. This guy's like gigantic. Guys, this guy stands as tall as a house. And so I was very confused the first time I saw him. And you know what's crazy is that me and my brother we started a band, and later, as time went on, Matthew actually helped us record our first song in studio, and that was such an amazing experience. And that actually taught me a lot about timing. I was a drummer, and I thought I was hot. I thought I knew my stuff. Matthew showed us flames with that metronome, yo. He showed us that, hey, you guys don't understand how this works. It's all about the metronome. So when I discovered that, I started realizing it's not all about performance, because we were really hot into performance, and our MO was like, how can we be the best performers? And we were, but we didn't have our timing on clock as a result of just really trying to go hard. So I'm just letting Matthew know I've sent a. So we're back. So I was telling you about how we thought we were the ish, and Matthew showed us flames. He showed us that, hey guys, it's all about the metronome. And Matthew actually started with music actually at a young age. I still remember while I was in university making beats, I actually asked Matthew to help me out by making my beats nicer. What's that process called? Mastering. So he actually mastered my beats, and they turned out much better than the way I made them sound. And so I started learning a lot from him, man. The crazy thing that now that I think about it, I used to actually see Matthew because Matthew was more my brother's friend, Jonathan. But I used to see him just independently. Like I'd go to his place. And this guy was very independent. Like even now Matthew's he's just on another level, guys. This guy is a professional at sound. He takes sound very seriously. Even this recording, he wants it to be very special and precious. And so he even asked me before, he's like, yo, listen, I just want it to be proper. It needs to sound proper. So you guys are about to hear from a master who masters music. I still remember the first time I saw him working, like when I first went to his studio to ask him to master my beats. Oh, you know what happened? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we have my man Matthew. We had some internet issues, but we called my man Matthew. Yo, what's up, Matthew?
What's up? How are you, bro? Long time.
Good. Hey, man, sorry for these internet issues.
No stress. All good. Real good. Can you hear me loud and clear?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Cool. So to set up the mic.
Doing,
man? I've been well. We had an event last night, so I'm a little bit groggy. Yeah, there's been a lot of really cool developments on my side. Yeah, a lot of news. So things are good.
Oh, man.
How are you?
That's great. Tell me about your event. What kind of an event did you have last night?
So we've been doing this Buzzed event. It's called Buzzed Party. Just a small thing, like activating the sound that we love so much, within the realms of house music. In like smaller venues in and around Joburg. We were in Parkhurst last night, just kind of, throwing down the vibes.
Nice.
And it's been going well, just like once a month, keeping it ticking over. Yeah, it's been fun.
Oh man, that's awesome. And the sound that you guys are into, like what kind of sound is this?
So we're pushing, it's house music with a little bit of influence of, funk and dub, and just like it's quite like dance floor focused stuff. A little bit of some undergroundy type flavors in there as well. But yeah, It's
Okay, cool.
it's a vibe. It's a vibe. Groovy stuff, groovy music.
That's so cool, man. So, like, what's the setup? Is there like a couple of DJs or you the main DJ? Like, how does it work?
So we're curating a lineup essentially. So we have a deal with the venue um, where they just give us the night. They have a sound system there, which makes things a lot easier. We just bring the decks. We'll curate the lineup, and then we obviously will book ourselves quite often within that setup. But yeah, it's kind of how we're going about everything.
Okay, okay. So you guys are actually the ones like supplying basically everything to create the entertainment. And so, like, what kind of a venue is it? Is it like a bar? Is it like a
It's a
strip
bar
club?
essentially. Like
Oh,
it's not a big place. Like half the venue, I would say about half the venue is like the bar side, and then you have the other half of the venue, which is like a dance floor focus space. And like we've got expertise in the areas of like events and sound systems and curating good DJ lineups that make sense, that kind of grow throughout the night.
mm,
And venue owners, it's quite easy for us to meet them halfway with that kind of a pitch. We can provide entertainment for the whole evening, essentially. If they have a sound system, the budget doesn't need to be huge either. We can make it work. And that's what we've been doing. We've been promoting, um, curating the lineup. They get a bit of promotion from our side, a full dance floor. People are happy. They keep buying drinks. The venue makes more money. That's
nice.
that's that's the business model in a nutshell. Yeah.
Okay, okay. And like, did anybody get drunk and like throw up, or did anyone
no,
get drunk and sort of like, just yeah, shout too loud? Like,
no,
did
no.
anything
Well,
crazy
some
happen?
we got some woo-woos and stuff. You know what I mean? Some whistles and stuff. But no, it's like it's not. I think our type of music attracts a certain audience that isn't that sloppy, if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah.
Um, yeah, so everyone was like kind of as well behaved as you would want them to be at like a nightlife kind of spot. But
Mm,
the vibes were there though. It was nice. We were getting some good reactions, and like it's cool to share our sound to especially younger people coming out. Like, there's someone from last night I remember who was they turned 18 yesterday, and
wow.
at that age you're very like easily influenced. Excuse me. And it's cool to know that like at this stage in our career we're able to influence someone of that age and give them an experience that's something that we've been working on our craft for nearly 15 plus years now. And
Wow.
yeah, it's nice to like kind of it's like a bit of giving back in a way. It's like the story keeps coming full circle, but yeah, the music really has served me in different ways from my younger years when it was about going out and playing and having a party with my friends, and now it's more about like just the physicality of dance music, and it keeps you in touch with younger audiences, and it's just like serving me in a different way now than it used to, but it's still serving me, and still brings me a sense of satisfaction and joy, and I still have a lot of passion for it. It's just that the focus or the way that it serves me is kind of has evolved over time.
Mm,
um but that's why we keep doing it. We love it, and it's yeah, it's a good thing. And our sound is quite niche, especially in South Africa. It's really, really, really niche. It's a handful of us. And if we're not the ones to, you know, share the sound, um, it's not many other people that are going to do it. You know what I mean? So we're trying to keep the vibes alive, that specific type of house music that we dig, trying to share it to younger audiences, and hopefully influence one or two kids who are on the dance floor whose minds are being blown by all these like crazy, funky, freaky sounds. And like, you never know who might pick up like a copy of Ableton or a deck, like, get some decks or, fiddle around on a groove box. And next thing you know, you've influenced another generation of artists and DJs. Um, So yeah, it's important for us, even though it's on a small scale. Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. And I remember, man, I came through one time to ask you to, I think I asked you to master some of my beats. Like, are you still in the business of like mastering instrumentals and mastering just vocals and, the whole studio ordeal?
Yeah. So basically, the way my career trajectory went was like starting off with the passion for music and making beats at home, and got into DJing quite early on. And I knew that I wanted to work in studio, but wasn't quite sure where I fitted in, you know. But I jumped in head first and just started recording people. And then I quickly realized like they don't just need me to record, they need me to mix and master. And it was really just learning from square one, like what is that process? What does it actually look like? What does a mixing engineer and a mastering engineer really do? And just like I kind of let my curiosity lead me um, to learn more about that craft, and eventually really fell in love with especially mixing, mastering not so much, but the mixing side of it. And for most of my 20s, I was doing mixing and mastering work. And that was my bread and butter kind of thing. That was like my trade, which is probably when, that you brought me beats and a lot of other people brought me beats, and I was recording every now and then. Um, but I always had this journey towards wanting to be a producer and make music and work on projects that are initiated by me. Not necessarily to have all the control, but like it could still be collaborative and everything. But I wanted to initiate the projects that I was working on rather than working on other people's music all the time. So the last, like, I would say about 3 to 4 years has been a process of me actually moving away from the mixing and mastering, time, like selling my time, you know, trying to get away from that model and trying to invest more and more time into my own productions. Um, so where I'm at the moment is mixing and mastering. I think I've done one mix and master for a client this year. I'm not even sure if it was this year. I think it might have been the end of last year. But long story short, I don't do it anymore.
Okay.
As a service, I still love the craft, and everything that I work on personally, I will be mixing and perhaps even mastering. But it's been an exciting journey, and most of like the the news that I would have to share right now is not in that space of mixing and mastering. It's more about the projects that I've launched in the last few years, um,
Okay.
the label that I've launched, and yeah, and what's happened since I left that kind of phase of my career behind.
Okay. So now you about launching a label. Tell us about the label that you launched.
So, just to like clarify, obviously we started speaking today about house music and dance music and the DJing thing.
Yeah.
Uh, that's one side to what I do, but like Monday to Friday, I'm working
Yeah.
in the studio. So
Oh, okay.
I'm I'm making music. I say Monday to Friday. It's not really Monday to Friday, but like my day job, whatever, is producing music and running the label. Um, During COVID, there was an opportunity that was presented in a group that I was on, run by someone who's now my business partner, Jared Traeger from Jet Black. The group was actually a DJ booking agency group. We were once on his agency, we were on his roster. Um, and a message popped up to say, like, this is during the pandemic, by the way, as well. So you got to know, like, Jared's booking DJs, right, at this point, and
Okay.
there's no events happening. The DJs, no one's got gigs, you know what I mean? Unless they're streaming. So
Tough time.
everyone's kind of scrambling, looking for alternative streams of income and not knowing what's going to happen. Um, anyway, Jared posted a message just to say, is anyone interested in looking at more ambient sounds, music for relaxation, meditation, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Um, at the time, I was like, as I said, in this transition phase, trying to move away from mixing and mastering into production, and I just decided to give it a shot, basically. Supplied the demos. Um, the demos were subsequently pitched to the distribution company who I'm now signed with. They're called Platoon. They're a global distributor with, like, let's call it like a branch in South Africa. Um, they are owned by Apple. Um, so it was a good home, for me to find. And
Okay.
we signed a deal. They gave me a little advance, and we just kept releasing this music week after week after week, and we started to see a lot of growth. It did take like 6 months or so for things to really kick in, but things started moving after that quite quickly, and the growth's been quite exponential in terms of the amount of streams and stuff that we're getting. Um, so out of that is where the label came from. So we've basically made everything official. We've launched a label. We've got a couple artist aliases under the label. We're going to launch like a lo-fi artist alias soon
Nice.
that focuses on instrumentals, that kind of thing. But it's all within the space and the sphere of music for like chilling out, relaxation, meditation, even sleep. We
Okay.
also do like nature sounds, rain sounds, all sorts of stuff. Everything within that sphere. It's Keep Calm Recordings, by the way. That's the label. Keep Calm.
Keep Calm Recordings. Is that the label that you created?
Yeah, so that was the label. Essentially, it was like the music came first. Um, as I said, through that story that I just told, and we
Got
just
you.
needed somewhere to house it. For really, to be honest, for tax purposes.
Oh
So that
wow.
the the label was launched to facilitate the music and the money that the music was generating, essentially. Um,
Mm.
so the label fully is there just to serve the the music, and also my business partner who presented the opportunity to me initially. It was a good way for me and him to make things official. We have a negotiated split on the royalties of the music, which is separate, but on the company, we're 50-50, and we have like a operational agreement there. And we just needed to do that, to have co-ownership, to have an equal say in where this brand and where this thing is going. So yeah, that's kind of where it came out of, which is a good way to do it. Like, a lot of people, especially in the music industry, have a tendency to like launch brands and things before they have like substance, before they have a product. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
Um, and it's not always the best way to do things. And this label was born out of like necessity. We needed the label to facilitate on a business and admin front. We needed it to
Wow.
facilitate everything. So that's where it came from. So Keep Calm Recordings is, I think, going on like 2 years old now. Um, yeah, somewhere there. I can't remember exactly, but it's a couple of years that we've been going. And we are currently sitting at over 200 million streams
What?
on Apple Music. This is
That's
total. So
mad.
all the streams from all the artists put together. Well, let me say all the artist aliases. Um, 220 million or something like that. It's a lot. It's a lot.
So how many artists do you have on Keep Calm Productions, Keep Calm Recording?
So the reason I said artist aliases and not artists is because I've got a couple aliases myself. So I'm producing meditation music under a
Okay,
couple of different aliases.
I got you.
The lo-fi thing is also sort of spearheaded by me, but it might be a collaborative thing where I might collaborate with some friends, to make these beats. But it'll be an artist alias. It won't necessarily be a fixed amount of people, if that makes sense. But at the moment, like I said, I'm trying to, in my career, I'm trying to produce music every day and monetize that essentially.
Mm.
So at the moment, it's really just me with a couple other people, and I record musicians, and collaborate with people to make the music. But at the end of the day, I'm the one producing everything essentially.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Got you. Jeez. Okay, that's interesting, man. That's so cool. That's so cool that you've actually leveraged business. The idea of having the product first, but then actually leveraging business to make sure that you know the government doesn't run away with your money.
pretty
It's such an
much.
interesting idea.
Yeah, yeah. I think like so. I mean, in the creative industries, you kind of like, well, if you're a producer, music producer, or let's say a visual artist or a filmmaker or whatever it is, your work creates value. Do you know what I mean? You you're in the your job is to like create value where no value previously existed, which is a cool thing about the creative works is that you can just sort of manifest value out of nothing, just out of your own ideas. And I've always loved that concept. Um, but creativity and artistic pursuits are inherently like more limitless, and they're not as structured as the business world.
I
And
got you.
they're kind of sometimes conflicting. And which is why I was saying it's sometimes better to create the company around a project or a product rather than the other way around, because
Mm,
you might find if you create a label and it's got a certain vision and a certain sound, you might find yourself being limited by that, even if it's just in your own head.
that's
So yeah, so the business was just there to bring some level of structure and rigidity and foundation, like all those kind of words, like boom, like beneficial. Whereas the artistic pursuits is more, things can flow a little bit more, and it's yeah, the business is there to serve the music essentially, which I'm happy with.
so. Like, what's the craziest thing that you've ever encountered? Maybe in studio, or maybe while you're producing a track, even though it's meditation, like it's just something crazy that's just kind of threw you off, but you were able to somehow, just focus and then come back to reality. Because I mean, I'm sure things can happen in studio that's just like unpredictable.
Yeah, I think like life, life happens, which is always distracting, and it takes you away from what your creative work is at any point in time. Um, I had my own sort of journey in the last couple of years of healing from a heart surgery that I had, for example, which I'm doing well now. But there was a period of time where I just had to stop everything and just, focus on my recovery. Um, there's also just like the temptation. I think creative people also have there's always a temptation to like check out other genres, sounds, things, pieces of equipment. Like there's a lot of distractions, in the world.
I got you.
Um, for me, it's not like a specific crazy thing that's happened. It's just all those constant things that are like pulling your attention away. As an artist, you have to learn at some point that you're the creator, not you're not there to be a consumer and like scrolling on Instagram or whatever.
Mm,
It can inspire you, like, and you can find some good tunes, and you might see some visuals that you really like and think, oh, cool, that could be like a good visualizer for my next single or whatever. But it's important to like switch off, and you have to make the time to like disconnect and realize that you need to create something now. You're not a consumer anymore. Switch off YouTube, switch off like social media. You've got to make something, else all these distractions and life's crazy things that it throws at you can very easily suck a lot of energy out of you and like throw you off course.
I got you. Yeah, I think that's really good, even for young people to just realize that it's because I think young people are so addicted to. I mean, myself, I'm addicted to like just the internet, and
Mm.
so when it comes to young people, like, are they able to actually get involved in production or get involved in the music business? Like, do you need to be a certain age to qualify, or like how does it work?
So I think there's a lot of facets and a lot of different areas in the music industry. Um, the most basic and accessible things is like it's always like making beats, rapping, DJing. These are things that you can like pick up and just try. You could just need a laptop and a pair of headphones or something like that, and some cracked software, and then you're away. You know, you can do stuff that doesn't have any age limit on it. Um, I think that there's like a certain point at which your artistic maturity and just maturity in general actually serves you and allows you to see things a lot clearer and hear things a lot clearer. And I think that does come after quite some time. It's very rare that you find someone who's like 18 who has impeccable taste and has like like mad skills in various different areas of the music industry. You might find raw talent, which is really exciting, or deep talent, someone that has a depth of knowledge in a very specific area. You might find, a 21-year-old who's a fantastic DJ and music selector, but it's very often the case that that 21-year-old doesn't have the tools, the resources, financial resources, especially at that age. It's hard to have built these things at that age. That's a limitation, and you can get around it by fast tracking yourself, by speaking to people who are more experienced and who have gone through the journey. Highly recommend that. But there's nothing that can replace like just putting in the hours. Literally nothing that can do that. I've put in like, I don't know, thousands upon thousands of studio hours, and I still feel like a baby in this thing. I still want to go way further. But I would say if you're young and you want to pursue a music career, you have to think about things in a longer time frame and know that like from the first beat that you make or the first song that you write, you're creating a catalog for yourself that will be with you, and it'll be your intellectual property for your entire life, like from that day that you make it all the way to the end. And there's huge value and potential in that. It's like investing money. You can put like $100 away and it's like nothing, but compounding interests, exponential growth, all that kind of stuff. In like 20 years from now, you look and you're like, wow, that actually grew like way more than I thought it would. Like it's that kind of a concept. So investing in yourself, I would say, is the quickest way to grow and to get to that point where you're like financially free and just making music for a living or writing songs or whatever you're doing in the music industry or any creative industry, actually. Yeah, I hope that answers the question.
It absolutely smashes the question. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yo, Matthew, man, like if people want to follow you, like, do you have like socials or maybe a page where they can sort of check out your work?
Yeah, I will just preface this by saying like something I just want to point out as well. I don't do social media really, like not seriously at least. I don't have
Okay.
thousands upon thousands of followers, and I'm more focused on just living the life that I want to live and making music and making a success of that. And just to preface everything, I just wanted to say that it is possible to have success in the music industry without lots of Instagram followers. So having said that, you can follow me on Instagram. My handle is at the real Matthew Garton.
Hmm.
That's it.
Nice.
That's where you'll find me.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Matthew, man, um, I have to run. I have to see a student, but man, I feel like this was way too short because there's so much I still want to ask you. I still want to ask you about your productions more. I want to ask you about also the events that you're launching, that you're continuing this buzzed. because I've seen some of the footage on Facebook and it looks pretty dope, man. I've seen some images where you have this interesting background where it's like books, looks like you're in some Harry Potter kind of museum.
Yeah.
Um,
So, yeah, the venue's got like encyclopedias and stuff like that behind the DJ box, so it's kind of cool. Yeah, if anyone listening wants to follow and check that party out, it's Buzzed Party at Buzzed Party is the handle on Instagram. Can check it out. But we can talk again. We can talk more about the stuff. You know, I also might not be the best person. Like, you know, my partner or partners in crime, Raj and Johnny, they're essentially the ones driving this. I'm just playing this. So like you might want to speak to them about that one. But yeah, we can chat again for sure.
Okay, yes, definitely, definitely. Okay, I'm gonna speak to Roger, see if we can get Roger on board, and I'll speak to John again, see if we can get him on board. Maybe we can all come together. That would be pretty cool. But thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. I'm definitely gonna ask you once more because there's so much more that I still want to ask you, man. Thank you so much for your time.
Sweet. Yeah, let's chat anytime. Let me know.
Thank you, my man. Have a good one. Enjoy the rest
Okay.
of your afternoon and your day.
Sweet, bro. Keep well,
Cheers.
always.
Thank you, my man. Cheers, cheers, bye. Guys, hey, we have a heavyweight, guys. Listen to that 200 million streams. Guys, you better follow the best. We've got the best of the best. I mean, I'm blown away. I wish I had more time. I wish I had more time. Create more time. That's my new dream. Guys, we're definitely gonna have Matthew back. We're definitely gonna have Matthew back. Matthew Garton is a legend, guys. He's doing things and he's doing it on the, you know what I'm saying? Like, guys are normally interested in that clout, those views, you know, that high like percentage. But this guy, he's a sniper, and you got to respect snipers. You know, Matthew is a business mind, and I told you guys, this guy's independent. I mean, how many people in music do you know they are running independent? And if you do, they're generally independent but struggling. I mean, look at the couch. He's got a Nga couch. You know what I'm saying? Look, his walls are white. They clean. Musicians don't live like that. You know, people in music don't live like that. Hey, he's living nice, guys. I'm telling you, guys. We bring you the best of the best. Check out Buzzed. Go check Matthew out on the decks. I've actually seen him at, where was this place? I forgot the name of the club, but I've seen him doing his thing. I've heard him doing his thing. Guys, he's on fire. Thank you so much, Matthew. Thank you, everybody, for staying tuned. We're going to bring Matthew back for sure.